The next section in our proposal will cover global competition. Research question 4 asked, what is Nike doing to create a competitive advantage over industry competitors on a global scale? When analyzing Nike's competitive advantage, we will review its past revenues, its revenue growth over recent quarters, and its marketing strategies and promotions, and compare this data with that of its top competitors worldwide. While Nike's revenue growth has been increasing over recent years, with a 10.16% increase in the fourth quarter of 2019, net margin of 10.8% still reports a lower profitability than that of its competitors. Then, after analyzing this information, we will gain insight into what strategies are working well for Nike, as well as what strategies aren't working so well to push its revenue growth. The graph below in our proposal shows the comparison of Nike's fourth quarter 2019 revenue growth to that of its top competitors, showing that the revenue growth of Nike was at 10.16%, while that of its competitors was at 20.07%. The next section in our proposal will cover financial performance. Research question 5 asked, how effective is Nike's financial performance prior to the pandemic of the coronavirus and now? The financial information used to evaluate Nike will come from 2019 up until the current date. The following financial ratios will be applied to the analysis of Nike prior to this pandemic and then after it hit. Profitability. Return on assets or profit margin went from 10.3% and is now on the decline. Return on assets went from 16.9% to now being on the decline as well. And then the return on net worth or return on equity went from 44.5% to also now being on the decline. Liquidity. The quick ratio went from 1.45 to 1.14. The current ratio went from 2.1 to 1.9. Total liabilities went from $7.28 billion to $8.28 billion. And the total assets went from $16.53 billion to $15.74 billion. Then lastly, efficiency. Sales to inventory went from 4.06 to 3.92. Assets to sales went from 1.68 to 1.53. Sales to net working capital went from 2.12 to 2.09. And then the receivable turnover went from 9.15 to 9.47. As you can see, the majority of Nike's ratios have decreased from 2019 to the present because of this pandemic.